I'm going to be showing you how to make a tinfoil frog, but you can use any of these tips just the same with any other animal. The first thing we're going to do is look at a picture of a frog, and we have to kind of see what general shapes make up the frog. So right now I have two ovals kind of making up the body, but I want them to all blend together, so it's going to be just one giant oval that will look kind of like an egg. So now I'm grabbing the tinfoil and crunkling it up until I make that egg shape of the frog body. If I need to add more thickness, then I'm going to grab even more tinfoil and wrap it around it until I like the shape. And I like that, so we'll keep it. Next thing is we are going to look at the rest of the body parts. So the legs and the hands. They are also made out of general shapes like rectangles and circles. So we're going to work on making the legs, and the legs were just like long rectangles, just like our legs. So I'm crinkling up the paper to make a long rectangle. And then if I need it thicker, I'm going to wrap even more tinfoil around it until I get the length and the thickness that I like. I will keep on doing this with all the rest of the legs, and I want to make sure that they're all roughly the same size, because we don't need one leg super long compared to the others. So here's me making the second one. I am using the first one as kind of a guideline of how long I need my legs. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the arms of the frog. Once I have all the arms and legs, I'm going to start bending them to the shape of what I need. And I'm looking at that picture again and trying to make it the best that I can to bend it. And I realized that I need another little piece with the back legs because they're a little bit longer. So now I'm going to make the back legs, and I'm also going to pay attention to making it flat on the end so I can cut the toes. And here's me cutting the toes. So that area is flat, and I'm cutting 2 notches in it, and then I'm crinkling it together so I have 3 little toes. And I'm going to do it one more time for the other back leg, trying to make the same size. And then I need that area to be a little bit wider so I can cut the toes. And I realized that I didn't do that well, so I'm going to add even one more piece on it to make sure that's nice and flat. So now I'm going to cut the 2 notches once more. I got that flat area. There's 1 notch and then another notch. So then that makes up 3 toes, and that's what it looked like on the picture. And I'm crumpling them together just to separate them a little bit. Now I'll need to do that also on the hands. So I am going to have to work on that soon. But I want to combine the 2 pieces, and I'm going to wrap them with the tinfoil. So I'm wrapping them around the 2 pieces to join them. We could also hot glue them together, but this kind of makes it nice and seamless. So that looks like all one piece. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side where I'm joining them. So here I'm going to wrap it around those 2 pieces and then crinkle it all together just so it all looks like one piece. So now I'm going to work on the hands and cutting the fingers on the hands. So I end up having to wrap even more tinfoil around this. I'm sorry you can't see it, but I wrapped more tinfoil just so I could cut, and then this one ended up being able to cut. So I cut the 2 notches, crinkled them together, and now I got my hands. The next part is I'm adding more detail so it looks like a frog. So I added little eyeballs, so I'm crinkling up little pieces of paper to make the eyeballs. And you want them to be around the same shape because your eyeballs are all the same. Next step is going to the hot glue gun drawer, pulling out the hot glue guns. There should be several. And then you will need to plug it in. You have to plug it into the outlet. This will have to warm up for a couple minutes. You won't be able to use it if it's not warmed up, so you have to wait a little bit. Afterwards, you will want to bring all your pieces to your hot glue gun. You don't want to end up having to travel with your hot glue gun on them. This is a very dangerous process, and I will help you out if you are in a younger grade. This is what the hot glue gun looks like. The circled part is the hot part. Do not touch that. You will burn your fingers. The next circled part is the trigger, and that's where you will pull just like a squirt gun to get the glue. So once it is heated up, you'll be able to squeeze glue out, and this is where you're gonna combine all the pieces. You will want to use a little bit of glue just so you don't end up burning yourself, but you need to work really quickly with it because it dries. You'll have to put it on one piece and then quickly put it to where you need to join it. And then it will dry really quickly. If you don't work fast enough, it will dry and you'll have to add more glue. For this, I am realizing that I don't like the joints that were left with the glue, so I'm wrapping even more tinfoil around it just to make it nice and smooth. But the tinfoil ended up wanting to come off very easily, so I end up gluing it down. So here's me adding the glue on the inside, not a whole bunch, and then placing it back on, and then I'm crinkling it to its shape. This will just make it look a little bit nicer and more professional. I'm realizing that's coming off too, so I'm going to glue it down, not using a whole bunch of glue because I don't want to burn myself. And that should be it. And there's the finished frog.